and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I'm gonna get rid of that. That's a little
What
too
happened
much.
here? My power's gone. My power's gone? It was
Plug it in over there. I had the same problem over there. Plug it in at Emmett's side.
on Emmett's
Not
side?
better.
So that one worked last night.
It was on and then it stopped.
Is it working now?
Yeah, let me just get it started.
There we go. Okay. Okay. We got about. Oh, 5, okay. Got an agenda here, and I'm gonna make a motion to approve the agenda as written. Can you get a second?
I guess I better second it, or it'll be a very
No.
short meeting.
If we don't, we're lost. Any corrections or changes?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have one set of minutes to look at. And have you had a chance to look at those yet?
I have.
And you have a problem with them?
None whatsoever.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the special meeting, March 24th, 2018, as written.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I have no, January 17th, there's no current correspondence. Move on to the Selectmen's report. And I've got a couple of things. The ordinance book, after 12 long years, maybe 13, has finally been approved at a town meeting. And that is online right now, and it's correct as it appears online. And what we're going to do is start looking at it and making changes. And got a few things here that I wanted to pass along to you. First is a certificate of foreclosure. We finally own Milan Case, the property. The intent is to clean it up. There's a bit of debris left there. Level it up, get some soil on it, get some grass, and make a little pocket park out of it. And we'll be getting going on that as quickly as we can this spring. That's quite an attractive piece of property. Those stones that are on it are just, they're magnificent. And so I'm kind of looking forward to having that available for the town. That's going to be pretty special. Just to start with, looking at ordinances, and we had a commitment from Planning and Zoning Commission that we were going to look at the trailer ordinance. And here's a little packet for you.
Thank you.
What we've got in here is the current ordinance as it looks. That's the first of 3 items. You'll find that's labeled as a draft, only because that's how it was labeled before. You'll see the draft language for the new, and then the third piece is the existing language once again, but in the new format. So you can have a look at that and go over it and see what we're trying to accomplish, and then we can go to work on that maybe at the next meeting. And by the same token, our Agricultural Commission has been looking at large animals, and we've got what amounts to a preliminary. This is not what the finished product is going to look like, but something for you to start looking at. And keep in mind, there are going to be some fines with this, or we're going to have to create a review board and have that in place before we can start actually doing that. So that's going to be one of our jobs coming up here, is to get a review board together. And that about sums up what I've got for Selectmen's report. We're going to move right on to citizens' concerns. Do we have any? Randy?
Randy Dill. Are you going to be looking at the ordinance, or is anybody going to be looking at the ordinance with respect to conflicts with state statutes? I spent a little bit of time recently looking at some of the ordinance, actually through all of them. I didn't spend a whole lot of time, but I noticed the one on the lakes, for example.
The which one?
On the lakes, the ordinances on the lakes, speed limits and things like that. And there's a couple of provisions in the ordinance that may conflict with state statute. For example, it says the selectmen can approve things like ski jumps. I think that's a conflict.
Well, we need to have that brought to our attention. I do believe that the review that was done of the ordinances attempted to resolve anything like that. I'm sure there's some left. So we need to have those brought forward, and we'll go to work on them. I would hope that we don't get an overwhelming number of items all at once. I'd like to see this nice and steady and just slowly move through it and get it all straightened around and as it should be.
There's a specific statute under DEP statutes, the 22A section, that give the commissioner authority over regulating structures in the water, docks and things like that. So maybe something we need to look at.
Bring that to our attention, give us a write-up on what it should look like or what it is, and we'll try to work on that. Another? Yes?
Is a copy of that large animal thing from the Ag Commission available for the public?
I don't know if it's quite, I don't think it's quite to that point yet. We're just starting to review it for our own purposes. It's not complete.
The draft, so.
It's a draft, and we're just starting to work on
Now,
it.
is it in reference to the loose animals, or is it in reference to zoning regulations requiring a certain amount of space for large animals?
I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I can't really tell you. So this is the point of it. We're going to look at it, see what it is. I know they're still working on it.
Will that be posted online?
Not until it's in a more finished form. I mean, this is preliminary, giving us a chance to start looking at it. Yes?
I have two questions. One, there's a lot of dumping going on at the Harris property.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
There's a lot of dumping going on at the Harris property.
Dumping on the Harris property?
Yes, it was supposed to be backfill, is originally what I was told was going to be to fill in a hole out there. However, it's turned into a dumping ground of gravel, pavement, people's, looks like brush, manure.
That's not good.
No, it looks disgusting. And it looks like it's becoming the new town dump. It looks like how the dump used to be down by the river.
I'll get out there and take a look at that.
I have pictures if you want to look at the map.
They were putting some fill in on that rough area on the west side of the municipal, excuse me, on the east side of the municipal property.
Right,
Down where
it's
the
supposed
water
to be
always
filled, but
collected.
It's not fill
Okay.
anymore. It's pavement, it's gravel, it's pea stone, it's huge tree trunks. It's becoming, originally we were told it was going to be filled. but-
Inside the fence or outside the fence?
Outside.
Outside.
So this is on that,
Yep.
I don't know. I'll
It was clean fill last I saw. I mean, I haven't looked at it in the last
may have
month.
had somebody come in with, figuring he'd get away with getting rid of stuff.
Well, there's a lot of piles of it.
Well,
I mean,
I will certainly take a look at that.
But it looks, I mean, it just looks horrible.
No. I will look at it. We don't need that sort of nonsense.
And then the other thing, the sidewalk in front of this building, did somebody, I'm not an engineer or anything, so I don't know, but it seems like it's off for,
Sure.
just under ADA compliance.
Yeah, okay, Eddie?
There is a sidewalk issue that is going to be addressed.
It is?
You have to wait for the frost to get out of the ground.
Okay,
That is going to be addressed.
okay.
I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I know that we discussed
I heard that there's intent to remove it and redo it, and get it right.
Yeah, it's too high for pitch
Yes.
to it.
Yeah, I know that's under discussion, but I'm just not sure what it exactly is. Anyone else?
Yes, I know you have the revitalization committee going on down at the, for the old office building down in the center of town.
Hmm?
I had a question of, what's gonna happen with the East Haddam sign that's down there?
With the East End and what?
The sign, that was in front of the building.
That's a very important matter of consideration. You also have a veterans, a VFW Vietnam marker there. And the intent is to remove those and bring them up here.
Because I haven't heard any discussion on what we're doing with it, or I'm just kinda curious.
Yeah, no, that's been discussed in the past, and we're certainly not leaving them behind. Those are gonna come up and be relocated. And
Where, is it gonna come here to move this, or?
I don't think that's actually been decided yet, precisely where they be. The Vietnam Memorial, I would think, belongs out here. The other one says East Haddam, and it has a write-up about East Haddam on it.
Well, yeah, the history of the town and stuff, of town.
And I-
buildings and stuff.
We're gonna have to just really look at that, but it's certainly not gonna be left behind. That's been a matter, on our mind for quite some time now. Todd?
And do you know who's gonna make the decision on where it's gonna go?
I think we'll debate that as a public item. I'm not gonna make the decision and be criticized forever.
I have two questions. First question, at the beginning of the meeting, you mentioned foreclosure of a certain property. What property is that?
Milan case.
Milan case?
The property out by the fish ladder.
Oh, Center River. And it's gonna be a place for open space or park? What's the,
A little
That's-
pocket park.
so it's right on the river?
Well, it comes up and abuts the state property there.
How many acres?
So,
I think it's two.
I would say about 2 acres. That's been in court for a long time, since the building burned and everything.
That burnt. We had all sorts of issues through the years with it. And now we have it, and it's got those magnificent rocks behind it. There's two of them, Roz, is that right?
I think there's 2.
And it just, you look at them and you just, wow, how'd they get there?
Big glaciers.
The glacier.
Thank you. The second question I have is regards the Ag Commission's proposed ordinance for large animals. I got a process question. They will draft an ordinance, they'll come to you folks, you'll review it, and then it'll go to a public hearing,
Has to go to town meeting.
and then a town meeting.
No,
Has to go to the attorney too.
I'm sorry.
It has to go to the attorney needs, an attorney needs to review it as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, clearly it's gotta be reviewed to make sure it's legal.
Right. But the public have a chance to comment on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Okay. I don't know if Sue's gonna make it in time. Unfinished business, the horizontal curve, Rob, you had asked about that. We are collecting information, but the state still isn't ready to turn them over to us.
Okay, well, I'm thinking that maybe we ought to do some preparation, so when they finally are turned over to us, we can move forward in an expeditious manner, whatever we're going to do. So I was wondering if it'd be logical to have Beth Lunt come here and explain the process, how we ended up with what we ended up with, and potentially what we can remove, because looking at the paperwork, it seems that some of the stuff was optional, like the vertical pieces on the posts. So
You tone them down just a little bit if you get rid of that.
I understand. It seemed to me, looking at it, we also had an option of a less reflective sign at the time, which might have ameliorated the situation.
That precedes me.
So I know. I mean, it was all done under
And
Mark.
had
but-
it been me, they wouldn't exist at all.
So I just think we need to address it and get some good ideas of what we can do, maybe can't do, and,
I'm collecting right now information. I've got a couple of pictures hanging in front of my desk. Signs right on the other side of a tree, Honey Hill Road. And I don't know quite how you're supposed to see that and understand what it says. But
There's
we
a
are
number of
looking
things
for
out there.
that.
I mean, we have one road, I mean, there was some, look like short roads or dead-end roads that would need signage, that have signage. And then there's some really twisty roads like Petticoat that has no signage on at all, none of the curved stuff. And so there's significant inconsistencies, which may open a door, I think, for, to reduce our liability if we start removing signs. And there's some
Relocate
towns
them.
that have said, no, we don't want them at all, and what's their liability? Because it was identified that they probably should have them, so.
And you'll see 5 signs, one on top of the other. And, you know, maybe you need 3, maybe even 4, you don't need 5. So we're gonna be in a position to make the adjustments, but not until they turn them over to us.
Well, obviously, I'm aware of that, but I mean, at some point, we can anticipate
Yeah.
turning them, getting them in our hands, and then it would be good so we can move forward fairly quickly when the time comes, rather than let it sit for a while.
I say, I've been collecting information on that for a while, when people are complaining.
Thank you.
Okay, new business. If you look down in, you'll see a request. Go, and from Barbara Balosky. And they're gonna have a baptism, and they would, want to serve beer and wine, April 29th, 2018, at the Grange Hall. There we go. So, I'm going to make a motion to approve the serving of beer and wine at Grange Hall for a baptism celebration, April 29th, 2018.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that one?
Nope.
No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
There are no board or commission changes. We also have no tax refunds. And once again, any further public comment? Yes,
2 questions. One, are the meetings being recorded yet, or are we still working on that?
the which?
The meetings, are they being recorded now?
They are being recorded, but we're not trusting the recording system until we are totally confident that it's working. They're being recorded here as well.
Okay. And then, last time we had a meeting here, I asked about the mold testing being done.
And I reported on that at the last meeting. Fuss and O'Neill is going to be doing that with the painting and the sanding that's still going on within the building. They said there's absolutely no point, your results will be useless. And as
Why
soon,
were we told it was gonna be done before you even moved in?
we thought it was. They came back at us when we requested it and said, it doesn't make any sense to do it now, the results will not be legitimate. And they're going to be doing it as quickly as they can.
And then would they be testing again like in the fall with the change of season for the first year?
I'm not aware of any second testing. I think they'll be just the first. Okay. Anything else? Okay, moving on. Selectmen's discussion. And Sue has pretty much missed it. The only comment I have, we have a public hearing for the budget, and that's going to be April 10th. Hi, Sue. Well, I'll repeat that. Selectmen's discussion.
Oh, don't put some time.
We are going to have a public hearing April 10th for the budget. And where's that at? That's going to be at the school, at the high school auditorium.
Copy of the legal notice in your packet.
Somewhere here. There we go. Legal notice. Town of East Haddam, Board of Finance, public hearing. Nathan Hale Ray High School, 7 p.m., Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. And you'll find attached, and these are just being printed right now, a copy of the Citizens Guides. And we've simply made samples available here. They'll be available shortly once they're printed.
It'll be in the East Haddam News tomorrow.
And on the East Haddam News tomorrow as well. So that's gonna be available.
You have a Board of Selectmen meeting that'll follow that?
Yep.
Provided the Board of Finance sends it and asks you to send it to town meeting?
Yep.
Then your meeting after theirs will send it to town meeting.
As always. So when that's over, make it a point to stick around. We'll have a very brief
You
meeting.
got it.
Okay. Anything else, Rob?
Is the water truck that the Ag Commission is gonna have at the community gardens, is it a tanker or a tank truck? What is it?
This is one of those trailer tanks that you'll see going out to fill swimming pools
Okay,
or for emergency purposes. Connecticut Water Company is replacing them. This is stainless steel. It's on wheels. And we're gonna have the Public Works create a flat up in the very highest point there, park it there. We'll put adapters on it so you can hook hoses onto it. And it'll make it, you should have a pretty good head on it at that point. Fire department's tasked with filling it,
okay,
and 5,000 gallons.
all right.
Now, if and when we put a well in for the community garden, we'll use that as a tank for it. Above ground, we can drain it in the winter, so there's no issue with ice and freezing or damage. It should work very well.
All right, so it's gonna be a stationary object. It's not
Stationary
gonna be
object.
something we have to worry about registering to get on the road or
No.
anything like that?
We have no intention of moving it.
Okay,
We might use one of our vehicles to move it around on the plot,
okay,
but I can't imagine that we're actually gonna use it for anything else.
okay.
Strictly for the gardens.
Okay, good. I just wasn't sure where it came from, or
Yeah, Connecticut,
water company, I guess, donated it, correct?
and I gotta tell you, that's a terrific item, 5,000 gallons. We're not gonna have to fill it nearly as often.
We'll be voting on to accept that, or do we have to do that for something like that?
I don't know if we have to, I suppose we should. Be hard to imagine we wouldn't accept it.
Well, no, I don't see it, but I think,
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Any gift has to be accepted by the town.
Okay. Thank you. Another thing is, I had a chance to go through the Company 2 firehouse, and looks great. And I was somewhat surprised to see the old Seagraves, which is in 5, I think, is back.
It's back.
What's the story?
They returned it to us, they were gonna get rid of it, and they offered to give it back to us.
Okay,
And I informed Brian, the fire department, in no uncertain terms, they can have it back strictly for parades. We aren't gonna put any money into it, we're not gonna upgrade it, we're not gonna refit it. It's just a decorative item, it's in good shape, it looks good, runs well, and it'll make a great parade item.
okay.
End of the story.
Do we have to vote also, since that has come back to us as another gift?
I don't know.
My only question is, I mean, and this is one of my concerns, is that, I mean, so it has to be registered, and I don't know if there's a cost involved with that anymore, and.
No cost.
No cost to us, okay, that's good, but it would still have to be insured, I'm assuming,
It'd have to be insured.
and there would be a cost of some amount there, so. I just wanna make sure people are considering these costs when these things.
That was my first question. I just looked at him and said, there's no way we're gonna refit that. That we're gonna put money into it. It's gonna be strictly decorative.
Okay, thank you. The other thing is, I noticed Julia Balfour has a sign pointing up into the parking.
I noticed the same thing.
Down there at our old municipal parking area or office parking area. And I think if we're gonna be having individual organizations pointing up there for parking, it's gonna be unsightly, and I think a simple municipal parking sign would be sufficient there.
More in order. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it's been there for a couple weeks.
Oh, boy.
So it kind of makes it look like it's her private parking area, so. Because she's not using the parking area or she has very limited parking behind her yoga. It's for her
Right, she's-
yoga facility, so,
She's got a major issue there with parking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
Okay,
point to be considered.
Sue? Okay. With that said,
Be glad you're hurried, Sue.
being
That
no
was the
additional
quickest one.
business,
Sorry about that.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:30 PM. Can I get a second?
Half an hour meeting.
Sue?
Second.
There you go.
There you go, I said something.
Got to get you on the page.
Any
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Sitting at a restaurant waiting for me. 'Cause I said, oh yeah, I'll meet you at 6:30. And I'm like, then I got caught up at work. And so I thought I was late for his. Yeah, what is all this other stuff? Because it's not